I don't know, Billy. I don't know if I want to play the game anymore. Hey everybody, what's going on? Today we're going to be talking about the pseudo return of the Saw series. Today we're going to be talking about Spiral from the book of Saw. I will warn you, there's probably going to be some spoilers in this review. That being said, this is technically a Saw movie, so you kind of know what you're going to get anyway. For those that don't want anything spoiled, I will say this. If you like the other Saw movies, you're probably going to like this one. That being said, it doesn't offer really anything new, even though it tries to pretend to be something new. And I'm going to talk about where I think the series is going here in a bit. But what you have here is you have Chris Rock playing a detective that when he was a beat cop, he snitched on another cop who had killed somebody. So he is seen as like the rat of the station, even though even though he has been successful, he can't trust anybody in the department. He used to be able to trust his dad, who was the chief, but now he's retired. So, and also that's pretty much, you can tell that's how he got to stick around, is because his dad was the chief. Then you have someone gets killed. They think it's a they think it's a homeless guy, but it ends up being a cop. Is killed in an elaborate trap, and of course this leads us to our detectives thinking they have a Jigsaw killer copycat, because of course John Kramer is dead, and yes, he is dead. So that's your basic setup for the movie. And again, I'll probably get into some spoilers here, so if you don't want anything spoiled, yeah, I don't know if I really recommend this one. Again, I think if you like the other Saw movies, you're probably going to like it. I thought it was fine, but I'll talk about why this one was a real big disappointment for me in some ways. When it comes to the overall feel of this movie, it feels like a Saw movie. They got the director of, I believe it was the second through fourth Saw movies to do this one, so it's going to feel like it. I mean, it's got the weird fast cutaway editing, and where it's all twisty and turny and dark and grimy and has weird lighting, and it's got all that stuff. It feels like a Saw movie, so of course it's a Saw movie, even though it's not called Saw. What I didn't really like about this was how predictable it was, and really this was a problem for, I want to say, from Saw movies 4 until Jigsaw. Even though Jigsaw, I kind of like bits and pieces of Jigsaw, especially how they were telling the story, even though the ending was kind of dumb. I did like how they incorporated John Kramer into that story and everything, because John Kramer is one of the most interesting movie villains. So I liked how they brought him into that. It just felt like the other Saw movies, again, from I would say parts 4 through the end, because the first 3, you weren't sure who was going to live or die. You might think but after the third one, I think it was, and I haven't gone back and watched them. I've only watched through them a couple times. As much as I like John Kramer, I just can't watch those movies over and over again. You knew who was going to die later on. It's because the plot demanded it. And also because, let's be honest, a lot of people that watch these movies want to see how gruesome people can be killed. And the same goes for this one. Even when you think characters are trying to get out of the trap, you know who's going to live and who's going to die in these traps. And the predictability is horribly unfortunate. Because again, that's what really hurts a lot of the latter Saw movies, is it's well, gee, the plot needs them to die. So, and plus, when it comes to the new quote unquote Jigsaw killer, whatever you want to call him, the Spiral killer, whatever you want to call them. Um, they, you almost think they were like, I can't remember the guy's name, the detective that was trying to become the new Jigsaw in the Saw movies. Like, he wanted some people to die, and that kind of went against Kramer's games on how his games are supposed to go. You almost feel like this new killer wants these people to die. He doesn't really want to give them a chance. And it does play into the plot, but he says he's giving them a chance, but you're like, well, gee, the plot kind of demands that they die. So they're going to die, or the plot demands that they live, so they're going to live. And I'll just put it this way. Not a lot of people live. So that was highly disappointing. I also, halfway through the movie, because this movie tries to pull some fast ones on you. And it's stuff that movies have tried before many, many times, and they always fail. That I figured out who the killer was halfway through. And I'm like, please let me be wrong. Please have some kind of a twist or something that makes it different. And no, I figured it out. And it was highly disappointing. I was invested in the story, and I was enjoying it. I'm not sure if I totally buy Chris Rock as a serious actor. What is he on? Fargo, I think, and I haven't seen that. And his character is kind of a wisecracker, but they also have parts where they're trying to show him kind of going insane, and part of it works, part of it doesn't. I don't totally buy into it, but he wanted to make the movie. He wanted to star in the movie, so hey, why not? So yeah, really, I was just disappointed in the predictability, because if this movie wasn't so predictable, it might have been a lot more interesting. But the breadcrumbs they're trying not to leave you, they're not leaving you breadcrumbs, they're leaving you like croutons to find. And it just wasn't. I was just upset because I wanted something more. It's like, if you're going to bring this back again, I wanted something more. And again, if you just want another Saw movie, it's fine. It really is. It feels like a Saw movie. It even tries to end like a Saw movie, even though, okay, I will say this. Okay, remember some of the Saw movies where you'd have, like, especially, we'll talk about part 1, where John Kramer closes the door and says, like, game over, right? Well, there's no way that no one could get to him, right? Because one guy escaped, and the other guy was going to die in there, right? Well, in this, they try that closed door ending thing, but there's a lot of people around that could have easily chased after the killer. So it's like, and I'll even say this: it was a lot of guys with guns. That, I'm sorry, you could have caught him. And maybe if they continue this story, they will. But here's where I'm going to get into this, where I think this is going. I don't think they're going to continue the story. What I think they're going to do, and this could work, but I think they're going to screw it up. They're going to start releasing from the Book of Saw movies. The next one's not going to be called Spiral. I don't know what it's going to be called, but it's not going to be called Saw. It's not going to be called Spiral. They'll have something else. Maybe it'll be called Billy. I don't know. By the way, Billy isn't in this. And there are only pictures of John Kramer. So at least they didn't try to bring him back to life. But what I think they're going to do is they're going to release this as an anthology series. So you're going to have different new, inspired by the Jigsaw killers, right? Now that could work if I didn't think they weren't going to screw it up. Because what I think you're going to get is just a lot of the same movie, except there's a new plot device. Where, like, the plot device in this was our new killer was against cops. And he had a lot of beefs with cops, especially dirty cops. So that was like your overall plot to this. I don't know where they're going to go, but I think they're going to do an anthology series. I don't think they're going to continue this one, which it's there's not even anything in the credits or after the credits At least in the screener I saw, as I had a screener for this. I don't know if there was something in the theaters. If there was, let me know. But in this, they could have caught him. That's just it. There were so many people around, they could have caught him. All one of the characters would have to say was, "Hey, he went that away," and you would have had an entire SWAT team on him, right? So the ending, I just hated. I hated the ending. The movie I thought was fine. Again, it was another Saw movie, and again, if that's what you're looking for, it's fine. But I was a bit disappointed in that. And one little funny thing was, and I don't know if this was just something they put in because Samuel L. Jackson is in this, or if this was really where Quentin Tarantino got the names for Pulp Fiction from. I couldn't find anything on it. But there is a safe that they have to get into in this, and on the safe door it says Vincent and Jules Safe Company. And I'm like, is that where Quentin Tarantino got the names for Vincent Vega and Jules Winfield, or is that just an homage because Sam Jackson's in this? And by the way, of course, Sam Jackson, everyone knows he's going to say, "You want to play a game, mother effer?" Well, he does. So you can be happy he says it. But anyway, I was just curious about that whole Vincent and Jules thing. But anyway, that's going to be all for this review. If you have anything to say about Spiral from the Book of Saw, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Until next time, I am your host, the real Gino Reynolds. See you later.